Since C# version 3.0, .NET programmers have access to the so-called inferred type var. You will learn what var is exactly, when, and how to use it in C# from this episode. Hello, this is Kazimierz Spin. Welcome to the Code with Kazik channel, where I demonstrate how to effectively learn programming and become a successful programmer. I prepared several declarations earlier along with variable initialization in the main method. As you can see, each of these variables has an explicitly defined type. Thanks to the var keyword, which indicates an inferred type, we can replace the specified type with the word var in each of these cases. So we just need to copy our initializations. Here, we can use the var type everywhere, but we obviously need to change the variable names since they cannot be the same. This way, as you can see, we currently have no errors. The entire code works just like before. We declared our variables as inferred type var, and at this moment, the compiler implicitly knows what type we mean, thanks to the initialization. So this notation is permissible, and if you hover over the word var, it will display the type that will actually be created at this point. As you can see, in this case, we assigned 11 to our variable, and it is implicitly of type int. In the second case, it is of type double. Here it is a string. For is deleted, it is bool. For date and time, it is obviously date time. And here for our class, it is implicitly an example of very long class name. These types are also identical to the ones in the example above. For me, the second notation, which uses var, is much more readable, but I agree that this can be a contentious issue. Clearly, some people may prefer the first form. So, the first point is readability, but the second, more crucial point, in my opinion, is the length of the type. If we have longer names, using the keyword var can be much quicker in such cases. You can already see this in our example of creating an instance of a very long class name. Moreover, if we want to use a link and, for example, retrieve a collection of elements, this notation will be even longer. Let's assume we have a list of elements of our class with a long name. Let's just call it classes, new list. Okay, in this way. Here, I will just add the appropriate using directive. Now, if I wanted to retrieve some elements from this collection, notice that I need to declare the type as IEnumerable here. Again, I provide the long name of our class, then I name the variable, and only at this point do I use the link. I will also add a where condition here, x, where I equals 1, order by ID. In this way, in such cases, using the inferred type var would be a much better solution. Look, if I now use var here as well, I think you'll agree that this notation is much more readable. See how the length has changed in this case, and consequently, the readability of our code. Thanks to using var, our example is, at least in my opinion, much more readable. Finally, I would like to point out that we can only use the word var in the case of declaration along with initialization. Without initialization, the compiler won't infer what type we mean. Therefore, we cannot use var in that case. We also cannot use, for example, such a declaration var, age, and a semicolon. That is, here we only have the declaration itself, and we haven't added any initialization. And as you can see here, we also receive the appropriate error message. We can only use the word var inside methods or constructors. We cannot, for example, create a field of type var or a property of type var. Look here at the top. If we were to create such a field, private var age equal to 10, notice that we have an error here. We cannot create this field in such a scope. The same goes for properties. We cannot use var here either. Similarly, we have an error reported here. The same applies to method signatures. The word var is also not allowed there. So if we create a method, let's say a static method that returns var named myMethod, notice that we also immediately get a compilation error here. If we were to expect a parameter of type var here, a compilation error would also be reported here. In summary, I believe it's worth using the inferred type var wherever possible, especially when combined with link, where our variable names can be quite long. In my applications, I use the word var everywhere it's feasible, and I think it significantly enhances the readability of my code. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this film, be sure to join my community, where you'll also have access to exclusive additional materials and, most importantly, fantastic special bonuses. The registration link is located in the description box below the video. See you in the next episode.